Morning guys, doing a video a little bit different than my normal slot car videos. In honor of Veterans Day, I wanted to show you some of the aviation memorabilia I have in my room. Someone asked about it. They saw it in the background. Start off with P-51 Mustang. It was always my favorite fighter from World War II. Got a half-scale propeller from a P-51 Mustang, and Detroit Miss. This was piloted by the only Mustang pilot to shoot down two Me-262 jets during World War II. Kind of next moving on to really what the principal part of my collection is, which is revolving around the B-29 Superfortress, which my dad flew in as a radar operator in World War II on his B-29 called the Georgia Peach. So I've got a picture of what it's like to fly in the cockpit. You can see it had quite a view out the front cockpit window compared to, say, a B-17 or B-24. There's a picture of that actual bombing run, looking out the window of the cockpit. Kind of moving over to picture of my father's crew and his B-29 called the Georgia Peach. If you look on the front of the fuselage, you'll see some figures of camels and then one bombing mission insignia where they had completed their first bombing mission of the Iwata Steelworks. This was the camels were indicative of all the pre-supply missions they had to fly over the Himalayan mountains. They were the first forward-based B-29 crew during World War II, flew out of Chengdu, China. So all their supplies, fuel, bombs, whatnot, had to be flown over the Himalayan mountains to that forward base. It was pretty remote. I've got a certificate that he received, my dad received, for his war contribution. And here's a picture of Doc, one of the two flying B-29s. My dad's position as radar operator was basically in the rear of the fuselage, behind where the insignia would be. Kind of moving on, we've got a description of his crew's accomplishments during World War II. Basically, they received some distinguished unit citations for his bombing missions as part of the 468th Bomb Group. And moving on again, I got another picture of his crew standing in front of his B-29. And this is kind of part of my best part of my collection to me, one of my parts I don't really like best. This is an actual steering yoke from a B-29. And you can see how that looks. Moving on, we have another picture. This was another, there are very few photos taken of the B-29 during the war in terms of actual photos during the bombing missions. Moving on again, I'm going to show you something first. So here we have a picture again. If you look on the insignia there, that's my father's pilot, Major Miller. There's his picture of the Georgia Peach, and you'll see at that point they had 3 bombing missions completed. They ultimately completed 7 bombing missions before he was rotated back and assigned to the 509th Composite Group. That's the group headed by Major Tibbet, Colonel Tibbet, I should say. Okay, this is one of my other kind of prized possessions. 1995, they had the 50th reunion of the bombing missions of the atomic bomb missions conducted by Colonel Paul Tibbets and Major Charles Sweeney. Colonel Tibbet was the pilot in command of the Enola Gay. And in this particular picture, in the background is the B-29 boxcar, which flew the Nagasaki mission, piloted by Charles Sweeney. I got his autograph at that convention that was held in 1995. And there's a model of the Enola Gay coming down. There's a model of the B-29 boxcar. This was one of the actual pictures of all the ordnance that was loaded on a particular B-29 during the mission. You can see the 500-pound bombs and all the 50 caliber ammunition being loaded on one of the top turrets. Down here you'll see that's what a 20 millimeter round was. The B-29s had a 20 millimeter cannon in the tail. Later on that was replaced by twin 50 cal. The 20 millimeters were found to be a little bit problematic in terms of jamming. And there's a B-17 and another model of a P-51. And again, that's I had a aviation specialist create the skin, a metal skin of the insignia from my father's Georgia Peach. And there's a picture of my father during training with his dog tag, and he was with the 20th Command. And here we got a picture of, that's a picture of that's a picture of Doc and Fifi, the only two flyable B-29s in service. Here's a color photo, pretty rare. Again, looking at all the ordnance that's loaded on for a particular mission is pretty impressive. And last but not least, I have a model of a Jeep. Always kind of love Jeeps. And that's an actual representation of Clarence Bud Anderson, another famous P-51 pilot. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. Again, I'm always proud of what my dad did during World War II. And of course, to all veterans who serve as well. Thank you.